Catherine and I were together for just over 3 years. She had a difficult personality, often treating those around her poorly, but she also had a softer side. Throughout our relationship, she faced multiple challenges, struggling with anorexia, experiencing mental breakdowns, and being deeply affected by the loss of her father. I remained by her side without complaint through it all. Our intimate life was scarce due to her struggles with anorexia, and I felt like my life revolved around her. She constantly found ways to criticize me, even while professing her love. Despite living over an hour and a half apart, I made the trip to see her every day. After Catherine overcame her struggles with anorexia and everything else that was going on with her life, she made the decision to attend university and pursue a degree. Back when we first started dating and she was still in high school, I would often pick her up after class and take her home. Her face lit up with joy each time she saw me waiting for her. After Catherine had been at university for a month, I thought it would be a nice gesture to surprise her like I used to once she finished her classes and pick her up. However, when she saw me waiting for her at the end of the day, she didn't seem pleased. Instead, she acted strangely and seemed anxious. The following day, she asked me not to do that again and that I should give her some space. I had a gut feeling that Catherine was hiding something from me, so I discreetly installed a keylogger on her computer. It's probably a lot harder to pull something like that these days, but this was back when Windows XP was the latest OS, and smartphones weren't even a thing yet. Catherine had gained back enough weight that she no longer looked like a walking skeleton covered in skin and was starting to receive a lot of attention from guys. I believe she was becoming intoxicated with the validation she was receiving from them. Combine that with the dubious advice from her female friends. Well, I guess I didn't really stand a chance. Her friends were telling her that she is young and free and needs to enjoy life to the fullest and other crap like that. I checked the results from the keylogger on her computer, and from what I found, Catherine had really taken her friend's advice to heart. I discovered that she had been exchanging emails with multiple guys from her university, and through those emails I confirmed she was definitely cheating on me with at least one of them. But that wasn't all. She would make bizarre comments about me and fabricate stories saying she was still a virgin and that I was a religious traditionalist who only desired sex after marriage. She seemed to enjoy slandering me and making herself appear more desirable in comparison. I was furious and decided to confront her. In the heat of the moment, I ended our relationship. She cried, apologized, and begged me to give her another chance. Against my better judgment, I agreed to get back with her, only to have her break up with me a week later. It felt like the ultimate betrayal and the cruelest thing she could have done to me because she took away my power to end things on my own terms. After that, we never spoke again. It's been 15 years since then. I never got into another relationship. There were opportunities, but I was too afraid of being manipulated and let down again to let anything develop. I spent my first 2 years as a NEET playing World of Warcraft until my savings dried up. No regrets here. It kept me from suicidal thoughts and made real-life friends and good memories from raiding. We did pre-patch heroic 25-man Lich King, and if that doesn't require commitment and a good environment, I do not know what else. Once my savings ran out, I returned to my job in IT. Luckily, finding work in my specialized field was not a challenge. I also decided to leave the WoW community after our team disbanded and everyone went their separate ways. After my finances had recovered, I began to travel abroad. I ventured to Japan, Finland, and even experienced the breathtaking northern lights in Iceland while soaking in a peaceful hot spring. Before the war broke out, I hopped on trains from Tallinn to Vladivostok along the Trans-Siberian route. I also explored Mongolia and surprisingly made friends despite being introverted. I made the decision to move to a different country and have since found a successful career. I feel like I'm at the top of my game. Currently, I reside in Europe and work for a large corporation. However, despite all of these achievements, I am still single at 40 years old. I have no regrets though, as I believe that I wouldn't have pursued these opportunities if I had a family to take care of. Lately, I've caught myself thinking about Catherine, but not in a positive way. I considered reaching out to her for closure, especially since our breakup happened so abruptly and her family was always kind to me. When things went downhill, I recalled how understanding her mother had been and how I cried on her shoulder like a child. In order to move on and potentially start dating again, I felt like I needed to address this ghost from my past. I decided to email Catherine. To my surprise, she responded quickly and agreed to have a conversation over video. Unsure of what to expect, I thought about ways to guide the conversation beforehand. However, her quick response gave me hope that she was also eager to connect and talk things through. As soon as I saw her on the video call, I was shocked by how old she looked. Despite being 5 years my junior, she looked significantly older than me. Tears streamed down her face and she apologized, saying she had paid the price for what she did to me all those years ago. I was definitely not expecting that. I attempted to stick to my plan and shared my feelings about how things had been going in my life lately. She did the same, but it was clear that her life was a disaster. Apparently, the relationship with the guy she had cheated on me with had ended quickly. Then she married an abusive man, but eventually divorced him and remarried. Unfortunately, she recently discovered she has a chronic illness and suffered a miscarriage. Despite these hardships, her current marriage seems to be strong and they are doing well financially. I also learned that she lost both her mother and sister, which saddened me greatly. She also shed tears over the fact that I am the only one of her partners who remembers her father. I had a lot of respect for him and even cried at his funeral. He was the type of man who loved showing off his garage workshop and would proudly share the story of how he acquired each of his tools. I asked her if she planned on discussing our conversation with her husband. She said that she would because trust and respect are important to her. Is that so, Catherine? I didn't tell her my thoughts on how hypocritical that sounded to me, so I just ended the call by wishing her all the best for her future. I have to admit, I was torn. A part of me felt empathy and sorrow for her situation, but another part took pleasure in knowing that cheating on me was a turning point in her life. Despite everything, we still reminisced about the good times we shared together. After all, she was my first love. I used to hate her, but those feelings have faded now. I even told her that I forgive her, hoping it would bring some closure. But there's no chance of us even being distant friends anymore. And so here I am, feeling both relieved and empty at the same time. It'll take a while for me to trust someone again, but maybe it's finally time to start trying again. I wonder if I should have been more assertive back then and stood up for myself. Maybe things could have turned out differently and the damage wouldn't be so severe. But that's just not who I am. I'm an introverted and non-confrontational person, and this is not some kind of revenge story where I take pleasure in someone else's misfortunes, because in reality, I am not coming out of this unscathed either. While her decisions may have led to negative consequences for her life, it was me who suffered the most from the act of cheating. After all these years, I am relieved to have finally found some closure. Now, I feel ready to continue living my best life and possibly explore the idea of dating again, maybe even finding a new relationship. The future holds endless possibilities. Thank you for taking the time to hear my story. That's all I've got for now. It's been awesome having you here today. If you had a blast watching this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button, smash that like, and ring that notification bell to stay updated with all the exciting content coming your way. Your support fuels my enthusiasm, and I can't wait to share more incredible stuff with you. Thanks a bunch.